speed on your defensive line to chase this guy down, because as we all know, he's a problem with his arm, but he's just as much of a problem with his legs. So you got guys that can go hawk him down. Will is one of those human beings. His progress as a player is, you guys have all seen that, the pass rush and how he's affected games in that way is taken to another place, especially this year. But what you guys don't see is that's what I'm talking about. Oh, boy, he's amazing, isn't he? All right, start with the injury report, guys. Michael Carter with the back. Did not participate, obviously. He'll be out for the game. Tyler Conklin got the hip. C.J. Mosley with the toe. Tyron. Aaron Rodgers with the ankle. Morgan Moses with the knee. Lakey with the hamstring. And Jamie Sherwood, he hurt his hand yesterday.
What was it?
His hand. Yeah, his hand. It's been what's that?
What will all those guys be? Playing without designation?
Michael Carter will be the one that's out. Okay, the rest of the ones we got a few more hours here to really make a decision on a couple of these guys.
Is Sherwood good to go for the game?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
How about CJ? How has he come along this week?
He's had a really good week, so we steadily have just progressed him as far as the reps that he takes at practice. He's felt the best he's felt in a while this week, so we're hopeful.
Rick, if he's able to go, Sherwood's played so well. How do you handle that if CJ's healthy enough to play and
right?
Do you blend those guys a little bit? Or?
Yeah, they'll all get an opportunity to play. At this point, CJ is such an established leader on this team, and he's played at such a high level for so long. There will absolutely be a role for him if he's dressed. At the same time, there's a lot of sets where we have 3 linebackers on the field, so there'll be opportunities for both those guys to be on the field.
Lucky was close last week, right? Is he on track to play?
I think he's trending that way for sure. So we'll take this next couple hours and really get a good feel for him and talk to Zuff. But I'm feeling good about it.
How has Aaron looked this week in terms of mobility with the ankle?
He's looked good. Yeah, he's looked really good. He's a magician as far as the work he puts into his body and all the regen and all the everything. So he looks like Aaron. Which is a fantastic thing, as we all know.
It hasn't been a normal week, obviously, for anybody around here, particularly yourself. How we're on Saturday now. How long ago does Tuesday seem to you? What's this week been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been challenging, exciting. Heavy on the heart at times, for sure, just because of the whole situation and my connection with Robert and his professionally, personally, the whole thing, what he means to me. Saying that, I'm so grateful for this group of players and coaches that we have in this building, because they've been so supportive and the way they've all rallied and prepared. Really excited about the work we put in this week. I am.
Have you had to catch your breath?
What's that?
Have you been able to catch your breath yet? Have you slept at all?
What's that? Huh? What are you saying? No, it's been good. It's been good. The guys here, like I said, the coaches especially, have really pulled up the slack for me and really kind of filled in the gaps of where I can't be at certain times. So I'm very grateful for these guys.
Have you had that moment where you could sit back and be like, wow, okay, this is my opportunity?
I kind of felt that the first night that I was given this opportunity. So it's and then it's really going and starting to check all those boxes of how I'd want to do it. So we're in the process of doing that now. Obviously, 1 week, it's hard to facilitate that much change. But it's definitely crossed my mind.
This has been turbulent for the players too. Do you have a feel for how they will react to the whole week?
Yeah, like I've been in this situation 2 times as a player, 1 time as a coach, and I've seen it go really well, and I've seen it not go very well. Again, it's why I'm just so grateful for this locker room, the character in this locker room, because they could have very easily gone sideways, and it might have not have been as positive, but they've been absolutely fantastic. All hands on deck. We've locked arms back to back, and it's just. It's exciting, and it makes my heart happy, the way they've responded.
What are the 2 circumstances? Good or bad?
Can I keep that to myself? Because I prefer I prefer not to share that. But yeah, I've been through this 3 times now, professionally, and it's a challenge.
How good was Isaiah Albert last week, and how nice is it to have him back there, especially considering Michael won't play?
Yeah, he is the Swiss Army knife. It's interesting, he's such a rare individual. MC gets hurt in pregame, not like when we're in pajamas a couple hours, pregame. We're talking about like 15 minutes before the ball's kicked off. So that's challenging, and to prep a player that hasn't had any reps and wasn't ready to rock and roll at that particular position. And for me to go up to Isaiah in that circumstance and say, can you play nickel? Yes. What calls are you comfortable with? All of them. And then we go in the locker room, I hand him the call sheet, and he looks at it front and back, and he's like, call it all. So to have a player like that is just, from a coaching perspective, it just brings you so much security, and he's an invaluable piece to what we're trying to get accomplished here.
Have you thought about your pregame message tomorrow night at the hotel?
I have not, but it's going to be consistent with what we've talked about all week long.
What can you give us the main message, what you've delivered all week long?
The big part of it is, like, we have a process in place here, and we've tried to improve it as much as we can in this particular week. And ultimately, we're going to trust that process, earn the right on Sunday or Monday night for this particular case to play free and loose and let it rip, earn the right to celebrate this game with your brothers, and ultimately, as coaches, this is our opportunity to get out of your way and give you the keys to the car.
Jeff, a big part of this obviously has been the change in offense and the play calling. What's your, without obviously giving up any trade secrets, what do you anticipate as potentially being different when you guys come out offensively?
You'll have to see that Monday night.
How important is it going to be to get Brees going in the running game specifically? Because I know the last couple of weeks hasn't been up to par.
Without a doubt, yeah. To be a successful team in offense in this league, you have to have a running game, in my opinion. That's a style of play that I will be unrelenting on, and we have the guys capable to make that thing go. So I'm excited for our offensive line. I'm excited for our entire running back room. I'm excited for our entire team, because it just changes everything when the run game is going like it can, and obviously opens up the play pass, keeps the defense fresh and off the field, protects the ball. There's so many things that go into that. Plus, it's just establishing the type of intimidating physicality and violence is going to be a part of our brand of football.
How would you evaluate DJ Reed's season thus far?
He has played at an ultra high level. We give these awards out on a weekly basis in the defensive meeting rooms regarding style of play, strain, effort, toughness, physicality, execution, all those things. He's the consistent winner of all these things. So fortunate. Another guy so fortunate to have. I know Sauce gets a lot of the headlines, but DJ is a comparable corner in that room, and the combination of those two is deadly.
With some of the penalties we saw in the secondary on Sunday, I'm just curious, do you think that they're calling it a little differently than they have been in the past? And from a coaching standpoint, how do you adjust to that?
Yeah, there's a few things from a technical standpoint that we can tweak and refine in some ways. But a lot of that is just, again, like we go back into these aggressive penalties. We got to keep our hands down. Obviously, you can't tug and pull and things of that nature. But we're going to be physical, and we're going to stay attached, and we're going to challenge you. So it's it's a fine line. It's a fine line. But we definitely tried to refine it as much as we could.
Can you speak to Will's progress and how important he could be going against a guy like Josh? And like that sack last week against Sam, it just speaks to his athletic ability.
Yeah, I mean, when you play against Josh Allen, you need speed on your defensive line to chase this guy down, because as we all know, he's a problem with his arm, but he's just as much of a problem with his legs. So you got guys that can go hawk him down. Will is one of those human beings. His progress as a player is, you guys have all seen that, the pass rush and how he's affected games in that way is taken to another place, especially this year. But what you guys don't see is the approach. He's become a pro in front of our eyes, the way that he practices, the way he meets, the way he takes notes. Here's a guy that struggled to keep high 220s, 230s, and he's in the high 240s now. So it's just such a strong testament to how he's taking care of all those little things to become the player we're starting to see on Sundays and Mondays.
At what point did you know you wanted to be a coach? Like when you were playing, and how did that come about for you, that you were like, this is, when I'm done playing, that's what I want to do?
Yeah, it was really late in my career, because I remember early in my career saying, why would I want to do that? You'd look at coaches' faces by the end of the week and be like, has he slept? you know, and I was like, that's craziness. And later in my career, year 7 or 8, wherever it was, we had drafted Patrick Willis, and safe to say, I didn't beat him out. You know, so I became the backup, and in doing so, I spent a lot of time with him, and we watched a lot of tape together. We did a lot of extra on the field, and I still remember it was just like yesterday. We're playing the Cardinals, and I'm on the sideline looking on. At that point in my career, I was a 4-course special teamer and the supporter of Patrick Willis is what I was, and the probably the assistant coach to Patrick Willis. And I remember he makes a play in the Cardinals game, and he snaps his eyes to me, and I look at him, and I was like, and it was something we had worked on and focused on that particular week, and I was like, that felt better than any play I've ever made for myself, you know, and it was like, I'm hooked.
With
Last one.
Josh, in the past, he's as great as he's been, he's turned the ball over quite a bit. 0 picks this year. Is that because they're not going as vertical as they used to with Diggs? Is that does he look smarter with the ball? What do you see?
It's probably a little bit of both, and I think a renewed dedication to the run game. You know, that's something that there was times in past years where they dedicated themselves to it. There's times they didn't. This year, they want to be a physical run team. You feel that on them, and in doing that, it's just the less opportunities to put the ball at risk, you know. And at the same time, I think that he's still growing as a quarterback, and you're starting to see this evolution of a guy that really understands when to protect it, you know. And he's doing an excellent job with the ball. So it's we got an amazing challenge on Monday night, which we're going to be ready for.
Thank you, everyone. No more backwards hat as head coach?
I know that Jared said I had to act like an adult.